My home country of Russia is definitely going through a lot of hard times right now. With the Ukraine war happening, with the increased censorship and mass media and on the internet, with the overall state of the country and the economy and the uncertainty in the air, the Russian side of the internet has essentially become a massive cesspool of Z cringe. And if you guys do not believe me, then let me ruin your day real quick, okay? Here, for example, we have a video of a Russian lady preparing some sort of package to send to her man who is currently in the zone of this special military operation, right? How bad can it really get, guys? What even is this, bro? What is happening? We live in fucking hell. Okay. So yes, this Russian lady who's wearing the military uniform, by the way, has a Russian flag and a Z patch, clearly trying to show to the world that her husband is a warrior, cosplaying it out to the world essentially, right? Her husband asked her to put some kind of air freshener that he could use in his car into the package, and her reaction is, this. I think we need to bring shame back, okay, is all I'm saying. Good old-fashioned shame needs to come back, because this is insane. Now guys, there is actually a reason why I'm showing you this video besides trying to ruin your day. Because in today's video, guys, once again, we're going to be taking a look at what is currently happening in Russian society. Also, talk a little bit about the embarrassing TikToks of wives of Russian soldiers, which lack absolutely any self-awareness and are a good example of what is currently happening to the Russian society. Hey there people, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian. Welcome to a brand new video, and actually, not that long ago on this channel, I've already actually reacted to some of these TikToks created by wives of Russian Z soldiers, and they are absolutely insane. They essentially range from, here I am, check me out, look how hard it is to be a wife of a Russian Z soldier, or some of them are like showing how these women are waiting for their man to come back from war and then they're sending him off to prison. I guess this is like the life cycle of being the wife of a Russian soldier or something. And also in some of these videos, these women are like bragging about how he's a real man or whatever because he's sending me huge amounts of money that he earned from the Russian government being an occupier, so it was just absolutely insane. However, one thing that I paid attention to in particular in that video is how actually you can see the insane cynicism and disregard for human life in the current Russian society through these TikToks as well.
А это значит, что ты можешь с ним не жить, ты можешь с ним не спать, ты можешь больше его не ждать, набежать в ЗАГС и разводиться, я тебе не советую, потому что, 2 года он там выживал, уже тоже, да, лимит удачи должен быть исчерпан, и как бы так-то разведешься, останешься с разбитым сердцем и с голой жопой. Сохранишь брак, может, что и перепадет.
Yes, people, that is correct. Apart from these sort of proud Z-soldier wives that post these TikToks that are completely insane, you know, they lack self-awareness, they do not understand how this looks, there's also a bit of a different side to this where there's Russian women out there who are currently married or in a relationship with a soldier who's currently in Ukraine. And a lot of these women essentially feels like couldn't care less if their man survived or died at the front line. And actually, a lot of them give out advice to other women in Russia on how to essentially make money on men that are dying at the front line right now in Ukraine. So, here I am on a Russian news article about how, posted on the 1st of April of 2025, by the way, but this is not an April Fool's joke. Far from it. And here's the story. The Russian Investigative Committee and the Russian General Prosecution are investigating a lady that advised women to marry soldiers in the zone of the special military operation just for the money. A real estate agent lady from the Russian city of Tomsk who advised women to marry soldiers taking part in the special military operation in order to get 8 million rubles after they die in order to buy an apartment is now being looked into by the Russian Investigative Committee and the General Prosecution. A veteran of the Special Military Operation and the Chechen War, that's a double whammy right there. My guy is just so bad at avoiding military service. This veteran complained to the Russian authorities, essentially asking this lady to be trialed under the crime of discrediting the armed forces of Russia. And he also would like her to publicly apologize for her words. Sounds interesting. Let's check out the actual footage and what she said.
Ну вот мне уже за 30, да? Мне что сейчас делать, если я хочу квартиру? Где мне брать деньги?
Да все легко и просто. Находишь сейчас мужчину, который служит на СВО, он погибает, и ты получаешь 8 миллионов.
Это рабочая схема.
Конечно. Сейчас многие так делают. Очень много женщин к нам приходят с этими 8 миллионами, покупают какую-то там дешевенькую квартирку.
И ищут опять? Ну,
не знаю, не спрашивала. Надо будет задать вопрос.
что это прям рабочая схема получается.
Это бизнес-план.
Вот мне...
That's crazy, dude. calling the idea of marrying a Russian man so that he could go, you know, volunteer to fight in Ukraine to collect money from him, and then collect even more money, 8 million rubles, like 80,000 bucks, after he dies at the war, which will definitely happen. I enjoy the fact that these women, they just they know that it's a given, that men just die in war in Russia, you know, right? Like, this is just the fact of life now. This is not something that our government has caused or anything. This is just a cycle of life. As a Russian man, you have to grow up and then die in a war. And then obviously, you know, your family, your wife gets to reap the benefits of your death. And what's even sadder and more ironic is that no matter how cynical and insane this clip is, unfortunately, this is the reality of modern Russia. First of all, not only are a lot of men in the first place feeling kind of unwanted, undesired, you know, a lot of men are just like in a middle-life crisis basically, and they live in Russia, so they are depressed. Many of these men, they feel like they failed, their salaries are not that big enough in Russia for a lot of people to like really provide for their family. So a lot of men in Russia are just like, damn, I guess I really cannot get a good job that will pay me a lot of money, that will, you know, fund my family stuff. So I guess I just have no choice other than to enlist in the contract army and die for Russia. Whatever that means, at least my family will get some money after I die. You know, essentially sending myself into the meat grinder is the only way I can make money. And that is actually the reason why a lot of the soldiers in the Russian contract army come from like poor rural areas where you cannot make any money other than becoming a soldier and sending yourself into the meat grinder. And it's obviously insanely cynical that this entire experience is formatted through this epic business advice TikTok on how to buy an apartment in the year of 2025 in Russia. Just get a husband and wait for him to die. Yes, guys, this is truly a normal country and a normal society, but like we already established, this lady immediately got some pushback for these comments. The Russian Z police is supposedly on her ass right now, and she actually did go out, and she did come out with a public apology and debunked her statements. Here it is, my apologies by the way for this weird fucking thing. There was probably a watermark, some shitty Russian Telegram channel on here that they covered up or whatever, so let's just enjoy this video looking at it as if her mouth is taped, okay? It's a great visual metaphor for the, you know, nature of free speech in Russia, whatever.
Здравствуйте всем, кто смотрел мое интервью с Дарьей. Я хочу обратиться к людям, которые приняли мои слова по поводу бизнес-плана с участниками СВО за чистую монету. Конечно, это был сарказм в сторону бессовестных женщин, которые охмуряют мужчин, пользуются их доверчивостью целью собственного обогащения. Ну, вот таким мерзким путем. Мои слова в том интервью не стоит воспринимать как совет ни в коем случае, потому что я сама презираю такие качества в женщинах. Я прошу прощения, что не подумала, прежде чем сказать и вызвала такую вашу реакцию.
Ah, yes, the classic cope. I mean, first of all, you guys gotta understand, I don't even particularly hate this woman or anything. I hate all parties involved in this conflict. Everybody. Everybody in the story sucks, okay? But I do have to say something here as an expert on the Russian legal system. I think she's in a bit of trouble because Russia doesn't have such things as sarcasm or like irony in the criminal code, right? So you cannot get away with something in Russia by saying it was a joke. You will go to jail still. I mean, this actually happened to a Russian YouTuber. I talked about this in a recent video about Russian YouTubers who went to prison. A famous Russian YouTuber, Yuri Khovansky, who had millions of subscribers, he was involved in a situation where essentially he got arrested in Russia in like 2021 for a 10-year-old song that he sung 10 years ago in a live stream, and in that song, he essentially praised like Chechen terrorist attacks that took place in Russia in the early 2000s. Like for example, the Dubrovka theater siege Nord-Ost. This guy, a very long time ago on his live stream, sung a terrible song kind of praising terrorists and saying that we should have more of it or whatever. And 10 years later, he got busted for this by Russian police. The story is absolutely insane, by the way, involves like fake witnesses and stuff. You should check it out in my full video. But long story short, supposedly the guy's song on his live stream was also supposed to be like satire and a joke. Supposedly the guy was trying to get a rise out of like Russian nationalists that joined the stream and started flooding his chat or something, so he wanted to annoy them. But the thing is, once again, the guy ended up being on trial, spent like a year in pre-trial detention, almost went to prison. He only ended up walking free because the time limitation on the felony he has committed has already run out, basically. But yes, the guy went to prison for a satirical, supposedly, thing he said. That was still terrible, right? And the reason is simple. Once again, Russia does not have satire or irony in its criminal code. So, I know you think this gets you off, but it probably is not. Because everything you say will absolutely be taken at face value in Russian courts.
Но, с одной стороны, может быть, это даже и хорошо, так как этот вопрос сейчас станет темой для обсуждения в СМИ, и, возможно, даже примут что-то на законодательном уровне, чтобы защитить
Yes, you were
мужчин.
trying to bring attention to the topic and awareness to how terrible it is. Yes. And now she's doing the cope that, like, now that I've raised all this attention, our government is doing something about it. Hopefully.
Прошу прощения у всех, у участников СВО, у матерей, у вдов, у жен.
У Бога, у всех. Yeah, I mean, this just shows to me, once again, the level at, like, a lot of people in Russia operates. You gotta understand, this woman is currently in danger of going to prison for the words she said on the internet, right? And now, as a response to it, she's apologizing and she's saying, hopefully, as a result of all this, once again, the government will now ban this type of speech so that it's actually now going to be considered illegal. So she's essentially calling for her own imprisonments. It's like, this is how people operate now in Russia. They get censored, they get destroyed, and in their response to the destruction of their free speech, they say, actually, it's good that, you know, they're trying to kill me right now, and actually our government should be even more restrictive and should ban even more free speech. Guys, I am on your side. Please don't touch me. Please don't touch me. I'm Z, just like you, like all of you, please. This is the pathetic fucking reality we live in, man. Absolutely insane. And look, guys, stuff like this happens every other day in the news now, and you're trying to tell me that the Russian society is not cooked. Speaking of free speech, by the way, here's another insane thing that happened in Russia recently. Basically, guys, if you follow my channel, you've probably already heard of Russia's biggest internet censorship organ, called Roskomnadzor. Roskomnadzor is essentially Russia's internet censorship watch. They're a branch of the government, basically, that actively exists only to police the internet, to ban things, to ban Western websites in Russia, to ban free speech on the internet, to call people foreign agents and so on. This is all they do, okay? And this internet censorship organ of the government's Roskomnadzor used to be pretty much ultimately hated by everybody in Russia. I mean, they're still pretty hated, but it feels to me like now things are maybe changing just a little bit, and Russians are actually fine with the idea of a government organ existing just to ban stuff on the internet. Because, guys, I have great news. Roskomnadzor has just created its own internet show about the things they ban on the internet. Yes. No, guys, this is not Killer Keemstar, this is not Drama Alert Nation, okay? This is Vesti RKN. The news of Roskomnadzor, your navigator in the digital world. And no, I'm not kidding, this is a new show or like a podcast they just made where they talk about things they banned on the internet this week. Let's check it out. Oh my god. So this right here says blocked period, okay? Like they're literally making a reference to the Russian McDonald's bootleg replacement Вкусная точка. This is Russia, guys. Yes, I love it.
Здравствуйте, это Вести РКН, ваш ежемесячный дайджест по борьбе с противоправным контентом в интернете. В феврале было удалено и заблокировано 55 800 материалов, нарушающих законодательство.
Bro, what the fuck is this? What in the God's fucking name is this? Who the fuck is this higher school of economics hipster I'm looking at here in these fucking huge glasses and fucking Balenciaga oversized jacket or whatever, talking about banning unlawful... What is this? What in the God's fucking name is this?
А ничего тот факт, что 12 900 постов с наркопропагандой отправилось в бан. Это на минуточку почти 13 000 попыток впарить запрещенку.
I want to end my life so badly, dude. She like started out her speech with a meme that's like viral in Russia right now. А ничего что? А ничего тот факт? That's basically the Russian version of actually. That's like a meme right now. When she opened her amazing speech about how they banned 13,000 posts with illegal drugs or something, she started it with a Russian version of actually. I wanna die, dude. I wanna die right. I don't want to exist anymore. Like, I want to perish. And by the way, I know some of you guys are gonna say, but fighting drugs is good or whatever. They're not fighting drugs, dude. Russia right now is covered in drugs. Young people are doing drugs more than ever, probably. There's like an insane boom of dark web drug markets and stuff going on. So no, they're not doing well in that regard at all, okay? But like, what is this? What the fuck is this? Why does Russia's fucking Ministry of Truth, essentially, right, that bans shit on the internet, have a podcast now? Where they're sitting in a nice studio, wearing nice clothes, with Shure microphones, and trying to be hip for the youth. What the fuck is this? I cannot believe it, dude.
Также были заблокированы 1700 фейковых публикаций о СВО.
А ничего тот факт, что некоторым до сих пор лень проверять инфу, прежде чем ее вбросить. Но ничего, мы проверим за них.
В зоне особого внимания контент, угрожающий жизни и безопасности граждан. 1400 материалов с призывами к суициду.
If you wanna... Okay, look, I didn't even want to comment on removing information that, like, is talking blasphemy about our wonderful soldiers that have never done anything wrong, right? About the special military operation, right? Sure, that's what they exist for, to police people, to send people to prison if they speak out against the war, right? But right now you're talking about, like, removing materials that instigate people to kill themselves. Remove the Russian government, I think. That's the most... I think in Russia, the government and the policies of that government is the main drive that makes people want to kill themselves. In my opinion, though, right? Just saying.
А ничего тот факт, что интернет, конечно, свободное
Is she gonna start every fucking thing she says with "and you shot it fucked"? Actually, I'm gonna actually shoot myself. Jesus Christ. It's almost like they want to be as insufferable as possible.
но не такой же степени.
Пиздец, просто дикция, манеры и поведение какой-то хабалки подъездной, нахуй, которая с пивом и сигой сидит, блядь. Что это, блядь? Что это, нахуй?
А ничего тот факт, что интернет, конечно, свободное пространство, но не такой же степени.
Yes, guys, this is the logic of Russia. Internet is a free place, but not that free. Cool.
А еще мы заблокировали 4700 запрещенных публикаций на тему ЛГБТ и 1400 экстремистских материалов.
А ничего тот факт, что многие до сих пор не знают, какие законы в нашей стране работают.
Важную работу провели и в социальных сетях. Благодаря взаимодействию с платформами заблокировано 16300 запрещенных материалов.
А ничего тот факт, что соцсети сами шарят, где чистить. Но мы продолжаем быть на страже.
Мы продолжаем работать, чтобы сделать интернет безопаснее.
Так что давайте жить дружно и не нарушать законодательство.
This is insane. This is insane.
И они реально думают, что их запрещенный контент будет вечно висеть в интернете?
Да они не могут так думать, там же модерация, законы, требования РКН.
Да, мы их удалили.
Вот это поворот.
So yes, this is essentially the reality of Russia now. These people that have a job that's completely useless, they're literally just destroying free speech on the Russian internet and making sure that more people don't see any information that kind of challenges the Russian government's point of view. They're not only going to restrict your free speech, they're not only going to jail everybody and call everybody foreign agents, they will also make a tongue-in-cheek, rage-baiting, passive-aggressive video in which they say that, oi, 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 don't say bad things about Russia or we will destroy and kill you. We'll actually send you to the fucking camps. А несет тот факт, что мы отправим тебя, блядь, на зону, нахуй. Oh my god. I guess this right here is what the Russian internet is now. Absolutely incredible. And also just the fact that this organization, Roskomnadzor, now has the audacity to not only just, you know, be a nuisance to society, but also now make rage bait promoting themselves. It's a sign that, once again, we live in fucking hell. And nothing good is about to happen. Yeah guys, what can I say? I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you enjoyed this little look in what is currently happening in Russian society and the state of the Russian internet. It is not good. Anyways guys, that is gonna be pretty much it for today's video though. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, please make sure to slap the like button on it. And also guys, if you'd like to support me additionally, and that is financially, then support me or donate on Buy Me a Coffee, or you can also become a supporter of this YouTube channel. And yeah guys, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.